fucking bird.
Little.
So good day to you all. As you can see, it is a glorious day in the UK, and I've just gone to my local store to get me some steaks because I'm gonna have myself a barbecue tonight. So yeah, let's get started. I'm gonna talk to you today about why I bought this bike over the Sportsters. So there's many reasons, as you can imagine, but the Sportsters for me, although were absolutely great bikes, they just didn't tick every single box like this bike did. Oh wow, that's a rough road. So, on the subject of ticking boxes, let's start it off. One major box for me was the look of this beautiful bike. And don't get me wrong, the Iron 883 and the 48 are beautiful bikes, nothing wrong with them whatsoever, but as we're on the subject of why, the looks of this bike sold it for me. You know, it comes with the ape hangers, it's got the gaiters on the forks, which I love. The simplicity of it just looks real simple, slick. The smaller tank, I know I've moaned about it being small, but it actually, I think it makes the bike look a bit nicer than the old Diners, and I know there's going to be people out there that think I'm crazy, but that's my opinion on it, you know. And you know, while we're on the subject of the tanks, the Sportsters, they look great, and the 48, you know, it's got that tiny peanut tank. You know, I can get, well, I say 150, I think it's more like 160, 170 actually out of this tank, which is a big factor really, because you know, the 48 you're not going very far, the Iron is a bit further, and then this one is even further again. So you know, distance, how far I can go in one ride, or from one tank I should say. That was another reason why I picked this bike. I did have some sort of worries that I was going to get pissed off with the 48 peanut tank, and even the Iron. You know, friends have told me, like, you know, that you don't, if you go to some faraway places, you're going to be pulling in, you're going to be filling up. So you know, what the most I can get out of it is 150. I'm happy with that anyway. I mean, you know, in real terms, I probably won't do more than 50 miles before I get off and stretch my legs. I mean, you know, it's just a fact. Also, how comfortable it is to ride this bike. The Iron wasn't too bad. The 48 was unbearable for me. I mean, it was really uncomfortable to ride. The riding position was not for me, and suspension was super hard. It was like you felt every last little bump, you know, and I don't really want that. And you know, in comparison to this, I rode the 48 and then I got on this one straight after, and wow, you feel the difference. That mono shock, it works so well. You know, you still feel the bumps. It's not like riding a pillow or anything, but yeah, it's a vast improvement from the Sportsters. And that's another thing, I actually quite like the fact that it is a monoshock and you don't see the rear suspension. It just adds to that extra sort of simplicity of the bike, you know, which I love. Another thing is the power. I mean, there's a considerable amount, larger amount of power compared to, say, the Iron, for example. I mean, 4th gear, 50 mile an hour, you pull the throttle, and on that Iron, I mean, it goes, but it's struggling. You can feel it struggling. I imagine in 5th gear it would be even worse. It's just a cruising gear. Whereas this, even in 6th gear on this bike, it's still pulling, you know, 70, 80 mile an hour, 6th gear, and it still pulls. And I like that, you know. I like the idea of being on the highway or on a road where I need to overtake, or I need to get out of the way of something real quick, or whatever it is. I've got the power. And I was worried that it was going to be too much bike for me. You know, it's a huge step up from an 883cc to a 1745cc. And the 1200, you know, they've got power, but you can feel the difference. You can really feel the difference when you ride this bike. But it's not stupid power. It's a lot of torque, but it's manageable. And you know, the weight as well. With the weight of this bike, it needs that extra bit of oomph. Which is another thing as well. You know, even though it's a heavier bike than the Sportsters, it doesn't feel that heavy at all. I mean, as soon as you know, it's like any bike, I guess. As soon as you are actually rolling, it feels like, you know, 20 kgs or something. But you know, it's not that heavy bike really, and they've really done well to drop. I mean, you sit on a dyno, and then you sit on this, and you know straight away, okay, this is a lighter bike, you know, which is another factor in me purchasing this bike, because you know, you don't want a bike that is too heavy for you. So also, I was really surprised when I test rode this bike, how it handles. The handling on this bike is incredible for a Harley. I was actually quite shocked at how nimble this bike is for being a bigger bike. And you know, again, you test ride this bike and you'll know what I'm talking about. Even at slow speeds, you know, U-turning and roundabouts and things like that, it's really easy to ride. And even with the ape hangers, which I was a bit sort of, oh, I don't know about this, it's super comfortable. It's just perfect positioning for your hands and your arms, or it is for me anyway. I mean, I don't know, other people might think differently. Some people like that sort of drag bar feel. But yeah, it just moves in the right way. You know, cornering, all that. It's really good. And you know, there's nothing wrong with the Iron and the 48. I mean, they handle well, but not as well as this. I mean, this bike really handles completely different. And you can tell straight away. I mean, the 48, I really did struggle to corner that bike. I don't know why. I think maybe because it was forward controls, I don't know. And I was sort of stretched out, hunched. I don't know, maybe it was just me, but after riding this, it was just a no-brainer. Like, I mean, why would I want to buy a bike that I can't ride very well? And you know, the price tag, yes, it is a bit more expensive than, say, the 48. A lot more into it with the Iron. I mean, you know, if you buy a Harley, brand new Harley, for $8 grand, I mean, that's damn good. And you know, when I had that carrot dangling in front of me, I thought, you know, oh, should I just buy the Iron, spend the extra money on, you know, modifying it, maybe put a 1200 kit in there and all that, blah blah blah. You know, to be honest, even doing all of that, the extra money that you pay for this bike, it's noticeable. You know straight away where the money's gone. The comfort, the look, the way it rides, everything. You know, all of this here, this is great. I love this. I know some people say it's a bit, you know, they like the old the old analogs, and yeah, they do look nice, but this is really clever, really good. It's very simple, again, you know, simple, makes the bike look more clean, in my opinion. And that was another reason. It's very, very easy to read as well. I've had a few problems with it steaming up. No idea why. Obviously water's getting in there, but yeah, I just really like the look of that. And another reason why I really definitely wanted to get this over the Sportsters was the, you know, carrying a passenger capability. Now I know you can carry passengers on a Sportster. There's nothing, you know, stopping you doing that. But I've heard a lot of people say that actually, you know, the bike start to struggle a little bit, power wise and handling wise. You know, the suspension, unless you sort of mod your suspension for it, they are sort of bottoming out a lot. And I didn't really want that. I know one day when my wife's brave enough, she'll get on the back with me, and I wanted a bike that I can have that capability if I need it, you know. I mean, this isn't really a reason why I bought this over the Sportsters, but the stock pipes on this bike actually don't sound too bad at all. You know, I'm getting, well, there should be a Two Brothers 2-to-1 exhaust on here now, but because they messed up the welding in the factory, I'm stuck with the stock. But you know, it sounds pretty damn good for stock pipes. Sportsters really were like, you know, you're riding a lawnmower, as everyone says, and it's true, you know, there's nothing there. But everyone changes their pipes anyway, so it's not a big deal, and that's, you know, not really a reason why I bought the bike, but just wanted to add that to the equation, because it is actually quite good for stock pipes. So yeah, there you have it. Hope you've managed to listen to the end, watch to the end. These are just my thoughts on it and my reasons for buying this bike. And you know, all I can say is, if you are thinking about getting a Harley and you are thinking of getting the Street Bob, you got to go and test ride them. You know, I mean, it's all good me telling you what I like about it, but you know, go and ride an Iron, go and ride a 48 if you haven't already, and then go and ride one of these, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And you know, just as a little bit of advice, you know, always buy what you can afford. At the end of the day, it's just a bike, and no one wants to be in debt over you know, something that as you know, trivial as a bike. You know, always buy within your means. So thanks guys, thanks for listening. I hope this has helped, and I'll catch you next time.